You buy them drinks. And the best thing about Korea is you can go to a bar, and if you want to meet a girl, you can meet a girl, and then you can start speaking to her in your crappy Korean like me, and she'll think it's cute, and then you just tell her in Korean, I like StarCraft. That's why I came to Korea. And then she'll go, oh, really? I like StarCraft too. And I said, and then you say, what race do you play? And then if she says she plays Protoss, you tell her to get out of line for the other 99 girls that are in line for you. Just kidding, guys. Actually, that's actually what happened to me. I did actually go to a bar here and start a conversation with girls about StarCraft, and they're like, oh, you play Zerg? I said, yeah. They said, oh, I play Joker too. I was like, oh, man, okay. So I got their Facebooks, and I got on with my day. But, map is Polar Night. Spawning at the 6 o'clock... Ooh. Spawning at the 6 o'clock position. It is Hydra. Spawning at our 12 o'clock position, it's XiGua. Now, Hydra, I mean, he made it pretty far in the IEM Singapore finals. I believe it was top 8, if I'm not mistaken. He was knocked out by my main man, Sun! That's right, but unfortunately, CJEntus Hero did manage to take down my main man, Sun! And he knocked him out of the tournament. Just made me so disappointed. I wanted to see a member of Flash Wolves get first place. Speaking of Flash Wolves, we are actually talking about drafting one more player, and it's going to be a big, big secret until we decide to disclose just who it is. But rest my words when I say it's not going to be a Taiwanese player. Overlords kind of crossing each other just a minute. In just a minute. In just a minute. And we're going to see how this works out. Alright, so the real deviation in Zerg versus Zerg is figuring out who's going to throw down the spawning pool first. And right now, this is where we decide, or players decide, there we go. Is it going to be a 15 pool into a 15 hatch? And it looks like that's exactly what it's going to be for both sides of the map. Now, XiGua did go to IEM Singapore. He was the player who qualified in from the IEM Singapore China qualifiers brackets. But unfortunately, his opponent was forced to forfeit. That was Tudming, and let's just say it was a huge. I feel like it was a mistake on my part. As an admin of ESL, I should have told everyone the what is the word I'm looking for? The way that the tournament worked out. Instead, he thought he was supposed to play 2 best-of-3s, and instead he ended up playing. He was supposed to play a best-of-5, and he already had 1 point. He didn't know this from the start, and I didn't explain this to either of the players, and neither was it explained in the rules explicitly. But I ended up telling him at the last minute, and with that, he basically rage forfeited. He gave us a huge speech, and I feel like it was all my fault because I didn't know from the start. My boss didn't tell me from the start. It's alright. I mean, stuff happens, guys, right? Tudming is a very strong player. He used to be on Invictus Gaming, but let's cut the fluff as we already have 2 Zerglings out and on the way from XiGua. He wants to get a full read on his opponent, but it looks as though Hydra is so confident as to not even make a single pair of Lings. Just committing all of those resources to Larva. And he's already making 1 pair of Lings now. It looks like for a bit of a late scout, but wait, what is XiGua doing? Okay, okay. He's not sending anything into his opponent's main, and it looks like both players... Oh, wait, sorry about that. Looks like Hydra is actually going to be sporting a roach-heavy build of some form or another. XiGua, for the time being, not leaving a single drone on gas. But he does get a thorough read on just what his opponent is going to do in the near future. So, he knows his opponent's going roaches. The reason why is because he's trying to get a huge drone count before he even starts harvesting gas. He may even try to get extra queens out, which he is doing right now on his main. Spinecrawler going down at the natural. 3 queens altogether. It's going to be 4 once it's finished. And XiGua is now making an extra pair of Lings. Is he supply block though? He's not. It's not a mistake, but wait, he's not macroing. Now he's making a lot of Lings. Now he's making a lot of Lings. And it looks like there was a scout just now that was shut down, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, with all the overlords out on the map, obviously Hydra is going to be able to see this coming and adequately defend against it, or so I imagine. Okay. A little bit confusing so far, but overall fairly standard ZVZ. Evolution Chamber number 1 and a Roach Warren going down for our CJEntus Zerg Hydra. Why didn't he name himself Roach? I don't know, I don't get that. And the Lings, I'm pretty sure, you know, XiGua, he didn't really click on either of those right there. He may have mistaken one of those for an evolution chamber. If I observed correctly, that is, I didn't see XiGua clicking on either of those structures while they were building. Okay, now XiGua's going to come back around. No click to the best of my knowledge again, but he should know, simply given the build times, that one of those is a Roach Warren, and he's getting his own Roach Warren in response to that, as well as his own evolution chamber. Hydra is now starting on his +1 attacks, and XiGua's trying to blind Hydra, doing a good job taking down that one creep tumor. Back at home, XiGua getting his own +1 attack, and his lair attack is coming just a little bit faster, so he could be trying to tool his way into transitional mutilisks or something of that nature, but right now he's got the same gas income as his opponent, 3 extractors. He's got a third base of his own already established, but he's not going to have the superior army supply, I feel, to deal with that. There are a few Lings out on the map. They haven't quite scouted that third just, well, the Overlord did scout the third. Okay, and I guess they're going to maybe try and poke at it? Yeah. Force the Queens to come back and deal with it, but they're like, whatever, it's going to take them a million years to deal with it. And already we had a huge wave of Slowlings moving out to deal with this third. This third will fall, but XiGua will not get his opponents. A bunch of Lings following this up. Wait, is this some kind of mind games or something? He's got a Roach Warren, but he's making no roaches. But he's still getting +1 attack. I'm not quite sure what this is all about coming from our Korean Zerg Hydra. Not a critic by any means, but instead trying to figure out what kind of battlecraft he's doing. And it just occurred to me that for the last 2 games I forgot to record VODs. It's alright, I'll use the YouTube exporter on Twitch if I can. Alright, so 2 Lings coming back, just getting a good poke on Hydra's vision. And I mean, right now we have XiGua playing from behind. That is just superbly obvious, but he does have a superior army supply for the time being. He just has to take the opportunity to use it. He has to take the opportunity to deal out damage on his opponent. He's got roaches, he just doesn't... but he knows that his opponent's Lings will be far more mobile, so that's why he's not moving out. And he's struggling to get his own third established somewhere. Just a couple of red roaches here, but they will not be enough to deal with all these Lings. They will be enough to two-shot some Lings here and there. But now it looks like XiGua just says, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to do something, and I'm going to have to do something fast. And he knows it. So he's going to try and put some pressure on this third. Maybe take it down. It's focusing down the spine crawler. Trying to. He gets it. There's 3 Queens. Lots of transfuses available on them. Lings coming in to reinforce. Getting a pretty decent surround, or at least encompassment, on these roaches. And there it is. Just superb amounts of damage being done, and just like that, XiGua's army supply lead has been flipped. He's now running for the hills, trying to get back home. He doesn't have +2 attack. His opponent is now halfway through +2 attack. Himself going for that +1 armor upgrade. Reinforcing roaches coming in to help. Slightly more as they may be, they just can't quite find the superior positioning with that huge mass of blue roaches following them. Hydra now coming back into the game. Yeah, and he's gonna be just gonna have a total steamroller of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not potential, but just inertia. He's not gonna be able to be stopped right here. I mean, he's kind of flaunting all of his roaches underneath these overlords like a boss. He doesn't give a damn. And now here we go. XiGua trying to get that surround. And the arc is kind of favorable to XiGua, but at the same time, everything here is in shooting range from Hydra's roaches. And now look at this. Oh man, XiGua pulling the roaches back, trying to defend the third. He's going to be forced to pull drones, and even that won't be enough. Look at the army supply right now in comparison. Hydra now double that. The roach count, if we simply compare it, is rounds for our red Zerg to throw out the GG. Well, so far, if you guys are just now tuning in, the total score is 3